Want a cider or something? Too much. Hey, what's up there, Andrew? Unmute your mic, Andrew.
My mic isn't muted.
Okay, there you are. What's up, dude?
Oh, what's up, man?
Not much.
Gotta see why I don't have a Lions picture on. I usually have a Lions picture here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the topics today, my man?
Nothing. Maybe just talking about them pro days we watched and maybe more draft stuff, that we were talking about earlier.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, sweet. Hey, let me get a good Detroit Lions photo repping my squad.
All right, man.
I am very excited for this draft.
Did you catch any of them pro days earlier?
Oh yeah, I did actually. I was watching LSU's, Florida's. I saw a little bit of Kentucky's. I saw a little bit of who else was it? I don't know who else, but you get the gist. This is perfect. I got a good photo. Yeah. Let me see.
Yeah, I watched that Kentucky pro day earlier, and that Kentucky linebacker Jamin Davis or Jamin Davis or however you say his name. He's actually very close and not too far off from Parsons. I think his vertical leap was a little bit better, and he's a little bit bigger.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of him. He doesn't look too bad. He's mostly going to be a day two pick, correct?
Oh yeah, he's definitely climbed up to day two. That's for sure.
Yeah, he was a day three pick earlier.
Yes, sir. Oh,
So
did you see that? What was it? Dan Campbell has spoke with Kyle Pitts today.
yeah, I saw that. He also Brad Holmes actually spoke with Jamar Chase too. He was in LSU.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that most of these pro days we attend, they're going to talk to almost anybody. So
Well, true, yeah. So and that's why when you will, I don't want to bring. I mean, I'll bring this up. When you were saying that Cincinnati Bengals are pretty set on taking Jamar Chase, I mean, nobody knows who's anybody's taking except for we know that it's deadlock that that the Jaguars are taking Trevor Lawrence.
well, yeah, I'm just saying, like, I know that the Bengals quarterback that Joe Burrow is really campaigning hard for Jamar Chase, and Chase said on Twitter that he would love that, or wouldn't mind it at all.
Well, he of course he wouldn't mind it. I mean, he would be getting drafted. I mean, nobody would mind it.
Yeah.
But I mean, what I'm saying is this: just because Joe Burrow was campaigning, it doesn't mean that the Bengals will do it. I mean, for all you know, the Bengals will say, "Huh, you know, we're basically dead last in the offensive line. You know, like let's continue building the offensive line and help our quarterback not get hit because he suffered a serious injury last year."
Yeah, and that brings me to my next point here. If all those quarterbacks come off early, I think there's a very good chance we're taking one of the tackles, especially if Sewell slips there.
We could. I could see us doing a bunch of different things. I mean, I could see us taking one of the tackles. I could see us taking one of the wide receivers.
Yeah.
Yes, even. Or I could see us taking Parsons. I could even see us, even though some people might say it's weird, I could somehow see us taking Kyle Pitts.
I can see that too. My number one choice is one of those tackles, but my second one would be him. And then, like you said, even if we stay there at 7, we could still trade back in rounds 2 and 3 because Jeremy thinks we might trade back in almost every round. So
I don't think we're going to trade back in round 1, and here's why. Those trades that just happened, in my opinion, between the Dolphins, Eagles, the Niners, and there was another team. There was another team that traded.
Philly.
Yeah, all of those teams that traded up and traded down, I think it pretty much hurts our chances, in my opinion, of trading back. Because when you look at it, who were we gonna try? Who did we think was gonna try to trade up, and who did we think was gonna be a contender? We thought that we thought Denver, that's still a possibility, of course. We thought Carolina. We thought there was another team we thought too. And I'm not saying it can't happen, but I just don't see it because, in my opinion, and I know Jeremy has brought it up too, it's very hard to trade back in the first round. It's a lot easier trading back in day 2 and day 3 and so on.
Right. Like it's hard to do it, especially if you're in the top 10, but it's not impossible. And
well,
depending on who's there, like, and how the quarterbacks fall and all that, I could see I could still see New England and Washington trying to move up with us.
Well, I could see that too. However, you have to think about it like this: the teams that are trying to trade up, they're also trying to um, make a deal that hurts the Lions in a trade up. So you have to look at it this way: it takes two partners to make a trade. Like we can say, well, we think we're going to trade down, but it's like the Patriots might want to, do this and do this and do this. And the Lions are like, wait a second, you're trying to basically get more for your dollar than what we were planning on doing. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
So I mean, even though like last year, like Bob Quinn, for instance, Bob Quinn was trying to scam the Packers last year. He was trying to get a very big king ransom and he didn't get it.
I don't think Brad Holmes is that dumb to try to scam people, but I think because look at it like this, like a team like Washington, they signed that Ryan Fitzpatrick to be their starting quarterback, and we all know he's not the long-term answer there. So, I mean, they're pretty much set on their offensive line and especially on defense. I mean, at some point they could take one of them receivers, but I think they're going to try real hard to move up for a quarterback.
The one team that I could see,
because Washington's literally just a quarterback away from being a playoff contender.
I agree, and they were a playoff contender last year.
Yep.
And they were also very close beating the Bucs last year too.
Yes, they were.
And that's my thing. Like I'm not. Everybody thinks that I'm against trading down. I'm not against it. What I'm against is being forceful and trading down without getting the best deal and without knowing, hey, who's going to be there at 7 before we trade down. Because let's say this, if Detroit wants to trade down, that's fine. But look at your board first before you trade down. If there's somebody that's available at 7 that you have on your board that's high enough to take, you take them, because if you try to trade down, that team is going to want to take that same dude.
Yeah, that's a very decent point there on that.
So it's like, yes, like, am I opposed to trading down? Sure, I was opposed to trading down last year, but I've learned, through my NFL years of watching the draft, that it takes two teams to make a trade. It takes two teams to agree on something, because there's always that one NFL team that's going to try to dupe the other team.
Yeah.
So, you gotta look at that. Like, sure, like you want to trade down, but how realistic is it, and what are the possibilities of the Lions getting anything back? Like, sure, they'll get a first round pick this year and maybe a third and a fourth. But what are they going to get next year in return too?
Well, supposedly the rumored deal out there from Washington was we would drop down to their first round pick at 19. We'd get their second round pick, their third round pick, and a first round pick next year.
I could see that. I could also see, I've heard this rumor with New England, where New England would give us Stephon Gilmore their first round pick, their second round pick, or was it a third round pick, not a second round pick? But it was a first round pick next year.
It was, we dropped down to 15 with New England. We get their second round pick, a fifth round pick, Stephon Gilmore, and a pick next year, I believe.
Wait, we wouldn't get a first round pick this year from New England?
Yes, we would. We'd drop down to their spot at 15. They'd move up to 7 with us. We would get a second and a fifth round pick, and then a pick next year.
And That's why, okay, let me ask you this, Dan, because I know in your opinion, and I always, respect your opinions. You say that for you, it's a Sewell or Slater at 7 or Trey down.
Yes, Sewell or Slater. 'Cause, I mean, we got to protect our quarterback. So you got arguably the two best tackles neck and neck right there. So I think
That's
you should
true.
take them or move down. I mean, that's
Well, okay. And here's my thing. The one of the two players I want will possibly be there at 7 too. I want Chase or Parsons. Now I'm opposed to. I think Parsons will be there at 7 and not Chase because I'm scared that Cincinnati might take Chase. But I think that they should go offensive line to protect Joe Burrow, in my opinion. But I have a feeling that Cincinnati is going to take Ja'Marr Chase.
I
So
think
that's
I think Cincinnati either takes Chase or even Sewell, and I think Miami will take either Waddle or Pitts. So I mean, Sewell might not be there at 7, but Slater could be. So I mean, that's
true. Well, I mean, you have to think about it like this: there's other needy offensive line teams that are ahead of us.
and
It's like
even if we don't get Sewell or Slater, I hope we take a tackle second, third round because this draft is kind of deep on tackle, but the two guys, Slater and Sewell, are arguably the best in the draft and that anyone's seen in a while. So I would hope
true.
that we have a chance to get one of the better ones.
Oh no, I agree, but we also opposed to tackle. I know you're very concerned about the tackle. I have not seen, when you look at the team needs, on ESPN, NFL Network, PFF,
Yeah, you
any.
let me guess, you haven't seen the O line as a list of needs for the Lions.
No, I know.
That's just because when they look at our offensive line, they're only looking at the left side, which was our best side of the line. They're not really looking at the right side, which is kind of weak. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Because you got Big V at right guard, who was signed as a tackle, only played 10 games last year, and he was moved inside to guard because when he did play, he disappointed at right tackle. And then you got Tyrell Crosby, who he's a good plug and play guy, and he's a swing guy that fills in gaps here and there, but he's not really a long-term starter. So the right tackle or right guard is definitely a need in this draft. I would lean towards right tackle, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, and I agree. But we also, and I know you don't agree to this, we also have a need for a wide receiver. We need a wide receiver one. We have plenty of wide receiver 2s, 3s, and 4s and 5s. We might take a wide receiver in the first round, second round, or third round, or even 4 through 7. Who knows? We also need linebackers, corner, and a safety. So, I mean, opposed to that, I mean, I would think that Detroit would want to fill in those defensive holes too.
Well, as far as like wide receiver goes, even if it's not Chase or Smith or Waddle or whatever, like I mentioned all those other guys earlier. Either one of those guys could be a wide receiver one, especially Nico Collins or even an Eskridge. You know what I mean? Or Sage Surratt or any of those other guys I mentioned.
Yeah, I agree. They could be. But as you said, you want the best of the best. You want to know you're getting the best of the best. You don't want to settle for second best. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but well, like I was trying to tell you, I mean, everybody's focused on those first 3 receivers because that's what ESPN covers the most. They don't show you a lot about many of those other guys. They're just as capable as being a wide receiver one as the top 3 that ESPN has mentioned, so
No, I agree, and I'm not saying you're wrong. Of course, like they're capable, but I mean, a lot of players are capable. I mean, Parsons is capable of being a dominant linebacker. Doesn't mean he will be in the NFL, but I mean,
well,
he's
yeah,
capable.
well, you could also say that very same thing about pretty much almost anybody in this draft, rounds 1 through 7.
True, true. I mean, this to me, I might sound crazy when I say this. Opposed to other drafts, this isn't. I mean, I'm excited, but this isn't like one of the most like you got to take this player draft. It's like, okay, if this player is there, and if you want him, as a fan, and if you can get him, you hope that your team takes him. But it's not that draft where it's like, oh my god, we gotta have him type of
Yeah.
draft. This is kind of like a weak, semi-good draft, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, that's definitely for sure.
And it's like, I don't even think that it's like even the quarterbacks. It's like I don't think that Justin Fields is gonna be good. I don't think Max Jones is gonna be good. I don't know if Wilson's gonna be good. It's like you might only have at least, and I'm saying at least, two good quarterbacks, and that's Trey Lance and Lamar and Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
So it's like the quarterback draft is even weak, in my opinion. I mean, once when you look at it, it's like outside of Trevor Lawrence. I mean, it's basically tier 1B, tier C, and tier D.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's when I think about it. When I want to look at the draft as a whole, and also like you said, like the offensive line, it might be deep, but it's like there's a huge gap when it comes to Sewell and Slater compared to the other offensive linemen.
Yeah. There's on the offensive lineman side, there's also other good ones besides Sewell and Slater. You got Darisaw, you got freaking Eichenberger from Notre Dame. You got Vera Tucker from USC. There's a guard, Wyatt Davis, that's good. Deontay Brown.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of good offensive linemen that'll go on day 2. That's for sure.
Well, yeah, but you also have to think about this, Dan, and I want to keep this in everybody's mind that's a Lions fan in here. Because we know I'm not gonna say I will say this. We know what the Detroit Lions are capable of, to where when it comes to draft time, we think, hey, this player is there at 7. Oh my God, we're gonna take him. And then we take another player, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So it's like, even though, like let's say supposedly if Slater or Sewell is there at 7, if we take a wide receiver over them or Parsons, I wouldn't be shocked if we do that because it's the Lion thing to do.
It is. It most certainly is. That's also in the back of my mind that they can do that too. So.
And it's been in the back of my mind, like say Sewell or Slater's there at 7, but they see Jamar Chase or they see Pitts or they see Parsons, they're at 7 too, and they're like, I want one of those other studs, and they take one of those instead of the offensive lineman, and then there's going to be Lion fans pissed about that because they're over here raving about Slater and Sewell.
I also wouldn't be upset with Kyle Pitts there either. He's going to be a wide receiver at the next level too.
even though I have heard and I have read an article today that teams that have talked to Kyle Pitts have not told Kyle Pitts, and he's personally said this, that he's going to be a wide receiver in the next level.
Yeah, and I've heard him say that same thing. And I mean, if you look at his game tape, you mainly see him catching passes out wider in the slot. He very rarely lines up inside at the actual tight end position.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Now, here's another thing that I'm worried about. I'm worried that we're going to take one of the Bama wide receivers at 7.
I hope not.
I'm so worried about that. Like, you have no idea how worried I am.
Yeah, well, I've been thinking about that. I'm just hoping that they don't.
Oh, I've been thinking about it too. It's like I wouldn't be mad if we took Smith, but I would be fucking pissed if we took Waddle because I don't see all of the hype that Lion fans are putting on Waddle.
I wouldn't.
You know,
I wouldn't be as concerned about him if he didn't have that broken ankle and the fact
exactly.
that he re-injured that in the bowl game. And then you see him at his pro day and he's hobbling around and can barely walk.
Exactly. But then, you have those Lion fans on social media saying, oh, let's take Waddle at 7. He's going to be the greatest wide receiver since sliced bread.
They probably forgot about his broken ankle that he suffered last year.
Oh no! This is what they say. They're like, yes, we know he has an ankle injury, but we think it's fully healed. So let's take him at 7.
Well, then they must not have seen him at the pro day where he could barely walk. So that's also another reason why he didn't run routes.
And another thing you have to think about too is the Lions are known to reach for a player.
That is true.
So yes, all of the, let's say that all of the top players are there, but the Lions are known to do this. They're known to take that next Ziggy Ansah.
Yeah, that's a good point there.
Or they're willing to take that next Anthony Zettel or that next whoever.
Yeah, that's they could do that too.
It's like I'm excited for a new GM or a front office for this draft, but I'm also concerned because of the fact that we know our history, we know how bad and how shitty we can do at the draft, and we know don't expect the unexpected when it comes to this team.
Yeah, I have to think the same thing.
It's like last year, or not last year, but there's been drafts that you and I have watched joining the game, or not joining the group chat and whatever. And the Lions would be the pick, and we see a player we both like, and we're like, oh my god, he's there at 7, or he's there at whatsoever, and then boom, we take another player, and we're like, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I mean, we literally have that type of pick every year, where it's like, all right, we got our hopes up on this guy, or that guy, but yet they go out of left field, and we're like, who the hell is that guy? Like
Jahlani Tavai.
Yeah, that Tavai pick. That was so out of left field that they didn't even have tape on him.
Oh my god! You want to know who we could have had over Jahlani Tavai?
Who's that?
The wide receiver that's in Seattle.
Oh yeah, DK Metcalf.
Yep, we passed him for Tavai.
Yeah, we did. It's unfortunate, but
and it's like That's also, what I'm concerned about too. Is like, what if in the later rounds we do that? Because sure, well, us Lion fans are excited for Brad Holmes in this 10-year. We're excited for Dan Campbell, but we also know not to get too excited because we know that this regime could be another failure.
It could. It very well could be.
So it's like, yes, we want Brad Holmes to fill because, like, if you like it or not, Lion fans, and I'm speaking to all of the Lion fans out there that is watching this stream, we have never had a successful GM. We have never had a successful GM that's been here for over 3 to 4 years. We have never. So when you think about it, you gotta hope that Brad Holmes knows what he's doing, that he knows that he's learned what the Rams taught him so he could succeed in that level, so he can be here more than 3 to 4 years, because we need a capable GM.
Yeah, and if you think about some of the hires that we made, like John Dorsey as the senior executive and Anthony Lynn as like the offensive coordinator, and even Deuce Staley as the assistant coach, running backs coach. I think all three of them guys are possible replacements and waiting in case Holmes and Campbell, don't get the job done right.
Even Aaron Glenn, I wouldn't even count him out.
Him too. He's in there in that conversation.
And so that's what I'm thinking about too. When I think about it, I'm like, yes, we always want our teams to succeed. We always want our team to do good when it comes to the draft and when it comes to game time. But we also know that there's that one chance that the Lions become the Lions and fuck everything up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean.
I mean, you've been a Lion fan longer than I have. You've seen it. I mean, you've seen everything.
Yes, I have. I've seen a lot.
I mean, there's been Lion fans that have said, "Oh, if we draft any of these wide receivers in the first round, I'm going to be pissed." I'm like, why? I'm like, wide receivers a big need too. It's not just about, I mean, I know that everybody's raving about the offensive line, but it's like there's that one chance, that one slim chance that we don't take O-line in the first round, that we wait until the later rounds to do it.
Yeah, I mean that's just how the team goes. But hopefully this new regime does better.
Yeah, and also I wouldn't be shocked if we drafted another D lineman in the draft. I mean, yes, we have a pretty solid D line on paper, but it's like injuries happen. So it's like I wouldn't be shocked if we drafted another D tackle, defensive end in the draft in the later rounds, just to solidify that we have some depth, just in case one of the top D linemen on our team goes down.
I mean, yeah, that's a good idea. That's what this team could definitely use is some good starters and most definitely depth, because that's one thing that this team lacked last year is depth.
And it's like I wouldn't even be shocked if we passed on Michael Parsons too. I mean, when I look at round 2, I see 2 or 3, day 2, I see, not only do I see the Kentucky linebacker that you've mentioned that I said I watched, but I also seen Jabril Cox.
Yeah, he's seems like he's been slipping a little bit. He was at one point late first, early second, but now he's slid down into the third, even fourth round range in some mock drafts.
Yeah, that's true. I have seen that. I mean, I would take him in the third round if he's there. Hell, I would take him in the fourth round.
Yeah, if he makes it down there, he'd be an absolute steal. That's for sure.
Oh, definitely. You would be crazy not to take him in the fourth round.
Boss, you want another cider? Oh, okay. Yeah.
But it's like you got to think about it. Like we all have our favorite players that we like in the draft, but there's always that one chance that Lions do the Lion thing.
Yeah.
And also, when you look at it as a whole, yes, we have been talking to a bunch of players in the draft. Yes, like you don't know if that means that the Lions are interested or if the Lions are saying, hey, let's just talk to this player, do the due diligence. Because since, we're already here, we're already at this camp, let's just talk to this player, even though we might not take him.
Yeah, I mean, it's what they do. It's you go to a pro day, you're going to talk to some players and kind of feel them out. And depending on if you like what he has to say or not, gives you a better feel for how the person is. And either you take them or you don't.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So
and
did you see that that thing earlier? Team president Rod Wood put in a bid for Detroit to host an NFL draft in 2024.
That would be freaking cool. I would love that.
Oh yeah! So by 2024, Detroit could be hosting the NFL draft.
That would be amazing. I mean,
hell, now where you live in Texas, if Dallas ever hosted one, you could go to it.
Yeah, I could. I mean, I've had chances of going when there was one in Houston and Dallas.
Oh shit! Well, why didn't you go then?
I didn't want to go on the plane and everything and worry about going back and forth and whatever. Plus, I didn't want to have to worry about, hey, how much money do I need for food? How much money do I need for beer? How much money do I need for anything like that? Didn't have to worry about my hotel and everything. So it's like that's just too much to worry about.
Oh, so you do drink beer after all. I thought you said you didn't.
Occasionally.
And
Very seldom.
I think before you said you had Sam Adams before or something.
Yeah, I had a little Sam Adams. I've also had a margarita before.
Oh yeah. So I was telling them guys in the group, you probably noticed it, that in August I'm going down to Florida. I'm going to Tampa Bay.
Home of the Super Bowl champions, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yep. And an hour or so drive away from Tampa Bay in Orlando is the WWE Performance Center where they hold NXT.
Oh, Are you going? Oh, that's right. You're not going to WrestleMania this year, are you?
No, definitely not. I mean, we used what we had from taxes and shit to plan this trip to Florida, so I'm not spending $1,000 on one per ticket. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I agree. That gets expensive.
If their product was a little bit better, I might do it if I had the money for it. But yeah.
Yeah, their product stinks. I still watch it, but it sucks.
Yeah.
It's very predictable. But back to the draft.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it like this, okay? How do you see round one? I mean, first pick through the seventh pick going. How do you slate who's taking who in your opinion?
I can see my biggest question mark is the New York Jets because at number 2, because allegedly they're cool and they're going to keep Sam Darnold 1 minute, but then the next minute they're going to trade him, and then it's, oh, well, no, we're going to keep him now. So if they keep him, I think they either trade out of that spot with somebody, or they pass on a quarterback and they take one of the tackles like a Sewell or something. Sewell is
I
a
could see that.
possibility at 2, but if Jets go quarterback, he's going to slip a little bit.
I mean, hell, I've seen Sewell be ranked the 14th best player in the NFL Network.
Yeah, in recent mocks, I've seen Sewell go anywhere from 2 to down to like as low as 9. He stays in the top 10, but I think if the Jets pass on him and they go quarterback or trade down, anyone that trades up is taking a quarterback, then Sewell will slip, and he most definitely will be there for us at 7, in my opinion, if it goes down like that.
Yeah, of course. That's very most possible. And it's like, I've also said it like this. There's been times to where we've said, oh, we don't think that player's going to be there for Detroit to take. And then he's like one pick away from us taking him. So, I mean, there could still be that possibility that we could still possibly get a Ja'Marr Chase. Who knows?
Yeah, for sure. Most definitely. What do you think about it's now official, there's going to be 17 games this year?
I like it, but I'm also worried about the injuries.
I mean, injuries are going to happen regardless. There's also going to be one less preseason game. So,
that's good. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't like it. There's a lot of NFL players that don't like it. But I mean, I don't really care. I mean, we know the Lions are not going to be that good this year, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, whether it's players or even other fans, I've seen like a 50-50 split on it regarding if people like it or they don't. So it's definitely something different, but it's happening for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely, it's happening. Who do you think? Like, I'm trying to keep, think of like good NFL draft topics. Like, because I've seen, I've seen a bunch of players, that we don't want, that has us taking them, that analyst has us taking them. Like, you might say that we need Sewell or Slater, but have you really seen a mock? And I know, you always say hold the mock drafts with a grain of salt because it might not happen that way. But I have not seen a mock draft that has us taking Sewell or Slater. I've seen him, either one or both of them available, but passing on them, but I have not seen either one of them there for us to take.
Well, first off, if you look at the history of drafts, since they've been doing mock drafts and stuff, outside of the top, like, let's say 3 picks, the whole thing's a crapshoot. So it's just people putting guesses out there. So, I mean, outside of the top 3 or 4 picks, they're not always accurate. And these people doing the mock drafts are just reading off team needs. So they see that we lost 3 wide receivers in the offseason. So they're just going to put there who they think the best available wide receiver is.
I mean, heck, even I've seen us taking, and I know you're going to hate this, and I know you're going to rage if I say his name, but I've seen us take Jalen Waddle at 7.
Well, yeah, but that's just mock drafts, and like I said, that's these guys. They think he's the best wide receiver available, so they may or may not go wide receiver at 7.
Yeah, I'm very worried about taking Waddle. I just don't want him. I don't want to deal with another injury-prone wide receiver. or injury prone player, period. I've seen enough of them.
Yeah, this team has used high draft picks on way too many guys with either leg injuries or concussion issues, and it's ridiculous. They got to stop that trend.
It is. It is like I get it. Like he's been good in college, but sometimes just because a player has been good in college and then you take him in the first round doesn't mean he's gonna translate to the NFL too.
Well, right. I mean, there's not a whole lot of first round picks that really do too well at the next level. You know, it's most of the guys that have been like pro bowlers or all time greats. Not all of them, but most of them have been drafted in rounds 2 or later.
Yeah, I agree. So that's why I'm excited for round 1. I mean, I'm extremely excited for the draft period. Hell, I'm always excited for it. But I'm mostly excited for round 2 through 7 because I want to see what our GM has to work with. I want to see him work his magic because I want to see if that thing is true to where he knows what talent is there in round 2 through 7.
Well, we'll see what he does because history suggests that in his time with the Rams that he's really good at the later round picks. So we'll see if he can continue that here, you know. So.
Yeah, definitely.
And outside of like 3 or 4 guys in round 1 in this draft, I like more of the talent that's going to go in rounds 2 through 7 or rounds 2 through 5 or whatever. So.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm going to even go a step further. Usually there is that thing to where we know who's going to be picked where, you know, in the first round through, like you said, pick 1 to pick 3. But I'm going to go a step further. The only pick we know that is for sure is pick 1. The other, the others is a crapshoot, in my opinion.
Hey, don't forget about that possibility of Urban Meyer taking Justin Fields over.
I wouldn't be shocked about that. I would think that Urban Meyer is an idiot for that, but I wouldn't be shocked.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past him at all. He coached him over there at Ohio State, so.
But I can't see the Jaguars passing on Trevor Lawrence. I can't see it.
I can see it. I don't think they necessarily do it, but I wouldn't be shocked.
Now, everybody is expecting us to trade down like you and others, but have you thought about the Lions trading up?
I have thought about that, and if they do it, the only team I could see them trading up with is the Jets. Other than that, I don't know who else they would trade up with.
Now, let's say this. You trade up to 2, and you are a shoo-in to get either one of the top tackles, Chase, you're shoo-in to get anyone, really, outside of Trevor Lawrence. I mean, you could basically, it would be a hard guess, in my opinion, if we do that, because everybody would say, oh, we're taking a quarterback. Well, not really. We might not take a quarterback. We might go a different route.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. If we don't do the quarterback in the first round, we could also take one in the later rounds also.
Kyle Trask, Mons, someone else. I don't know who else, but those are the 2 that I know of that are going to be in round 2 or 3.
Yeah. This draft, outside of those 4 or 5, isn't really that deep. There's like 6 really good NFL-ready quarterbacks in this year's draft, and 5 of them will probably go in the first round.
Yeah. And that's why I'm not really opposed to taking a quarterback, because in my opinion, I want to see if Goff can succeed with this regime before we even think about taking a quarterback, you know? Because Let's say this. You take a quarterback in whatever round, but golf is succeeding. So basically, you're thinking to yourself, "Oh, I wasted a pick when I could have addressed another need, and I wasted it on a quarterback because golf is succeeding and he is doing successionally well and high, and he's succeeding in my expectations. Wow, I failed on that pick miserably."
Yeah, and then what is it? That Tim Boyle guy that we signed from Green Bay. Well, I don't know what type of deal we gave him, but he may not even make the roster. He could be a signing for the preseason or whatever. We don't
Yeah,
know what's going to happen.
I mean, sure. I mean, you can go opposed to it like this. Yes, do we want the Lions to trade down to and do whatever? Well, there's always that one tiny chance that the Lions stay put in every round and don't trade down at all, and they just stay put and they stick with those 6 picks, and then the rest will be either practice squad guys that make the roster or college practice squad guys that potentially make the roster or leftover free agents.
Yeah, a lot of these guys that we signed in free agency, we traded for Brockers, but most of them we signed to like 1-year deals. So they're bringing in guys that fit the culture that they're trying to build.
Well, here's the thing, and I think I know what Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes are trying to do with those 1-year deals. They're basically saying, okay, I want to see what this guy has for me on a 1-year prove it deal before I make a decision if I want to keep him long term.
It could be that. I mean, that's probably at least partly what they're trying to do. So,
Or, they could be doing it the other way to where it's like, hey, before we sign these players long term, let's see what we do in the draft. Let's see what happens next year in free agency in the draft. Because we're supposed to be getting 13 picks next year.
yeah, at least next year after all the trades and comp picks, we're going to have around 13 total picks. And if we make that deal with Washington that's on the table, that's going to give us an extra first round pick that year and a total of 3 first round picks in 2022.
That would be amazing.
So I mean, I'm kind of thinking if they do decide to trade back, no matter who's on the board at 7, I wouldn't be upset with it.
Even if Slater or Sewell's there at 7, if they trade back?
I would be a little bummed maybe because those guys are like the top 2 tackles in the draft. But, I mean, there's also other decent tackles not as good as them they could grab for this year. And we got all them picks next year to fill it. So,
and that's why I always say, hey, we could trade down, but there's also that chance that we just stay put with the 6 picks that we have this year and stay put.
Yeah, we could. We don't know. We got to see what happens.
Yeah. But who? It's like, haven't you been thinking about this all day, Dan? Or not all day, but basically all month about who the Lions may try to take at 7?
I mean, there's a number of guys they could take. They could take Kyle Pitts. They could take a quarterback, an offensive tackle. I mean, we don't know. It's a crapshoot at this point. They could also, like I said, they could decide to move back for more picks too.
They could. I mean, I wouldn't be upset if they did that, of course, because we do need more young talent, I suppose. But I mean, they could do that, or they could, like I said, wait to see who's there at pick 7 before they decide if they're going to trade down or not.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know. So
It's like every draft year, we always think, hey, we expect the Lions to do this. But then when it's draft time, we're like, okay, we expected them to do this, but they did the complete opposite.
yeah, I mean, a lot. It's not just us though. A lot of teams do that, especially the later it gets in the draft. I mean,
Oh
the whole
yeah.
thing, like I said, keep saying it's a complete crapshoot there.
Yeah, did you see the other LSU wide receiver besides Chase? He's supposed to be a first round pick too.
Yeah, Terrace Marshall. He's a late first, early second round pick. He did all right. Not that great, but not that bad either.
Would you take him in the second round if he's there?
I'd have to look more into him. I don't really, I don't know because I haven't paid much attention to that guy. So I'd have to look up some LSU games or look up some highlight film on him because I don't know how good he is at all.
Yeah, yeah. And also it's like when you think about it like this, we all watch the pro days and we all think, hey, this guy has talent. But when you think about it, you're like, okay,
Oh,
this guy obviously has talent in the college level, but can he translate that college talent to the NFL and go a one step further in making it a succeed? Because Dan Campbell also said this, and I don't know if you want to believe it or not, or if you want to use it to where like, hey, that basically takes away that player or that player that we might not pick or whatever, because I don't know. But Dan Campbell said two things that to me are big thing in a presser or in an article. He said, one, we don't want to draft a turd. And he also said that when you draft in the first round, you always want to make sure that he's going to be your franchise player.
that was his thoughts on it. Trying to remember how he put that. I don't know if he used the word franchise rather than he used the word core piece or a foundational piece.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's
that's
how
what
he
I'm.
put it. But I
Yeah,
mean,
that's how he put it.
he could have been alluding to any position. He could have been alluding to offensive tackle, quarterback, wide receiver, defensive tackle, linebacker. We don't
But it's
know
like,
what he was meaning there. So,
but it's like whenever you hear him say the word turd, everybody seems to be alluding to Michael Parsons because of his off the field issues.
I don't know if he was talking about anyone in particular. If he was just saying, "Hey, I don't," I think he just meant he doesn't want anybody that's not a good culture fit or not a good fit to what they're trying to do. So, like for instance, that comment has many people believing he was directing that towards Jelani Tavai not being a good fit for our team.
I agreed with him. I mean, he basically threw shade at Jelani Tavai a little bit because he was basically throwing a little criticism at the linebacking core.
Yeah, depending on how the draft plays out, I don't think Tavai is a starter anymore. I think he's a backup, and I think he ends up on special teams, but I don't think he's a starter on this defense anymore.
Let's say allegedly we stay at 7 and we take Parsons at 7. Do you think that arguably knocks out Tavai as a starter?
Well, regardless, even if they don't take him, I don't think he starts because I think we're at some point in the draft they're going to take one, maybe even two linebackers, possibly. So I don't think, regardless, I don't think Tavai is a starter. come start of the season.
Yeah, I agree, of course. And that's another thing I want to talk to you because you kind of nailed the head right on the coffin. If you were the GM and you were looking at this team, whether you trade down or trade back or you stay put with all 6 picks, looking at the roster top to bottom, how would you hope that Brad Holmes addresses the team needs in what rounds? You know,
Within the first 2 picks, I'd like to see an offensive tackle to protect Jared Goff. So I'm going to say I'll do that with the first round pick. So Sewell or Slater. When we get to the second round, I look for a deal and I trade back and get an extra pick or 2. Then I address either linebacker or wide receiver. Third round, I'm addressing the defensive line. And then we had 2 third-round picks, so defensive line, corner, and safety, and probably with that 5th-round pick, a third-string running back.
Yeah, I could see that. And that would basically, do you think that would set up all of our needs that we have for this year, or do you think that there's still needs if they do all of that have to be on this team?
Well, with only right now we only have 6 picks, so trading back, they get an extra couple of picks. I don't think it covers every single need, but I think it covers a portion of it.
Like, and I could see that. I could see us doing it like you said. But however, I would keep that corner in the back of your mind for a second because we are visiting a slot corner next week, supposedly.
Oh, I can't remember the name, but that guy, yeah, I forgot the name, but if it's who I'm thinking of and if it rings a bell when someone mentions it, I think that guy
Quentin.
Yeah, Quentin Dunbar, he's pretty injury prone, man.
Oh, I know. But it's like
He'd basically be the equivalent of a true five. That's how
you
bad
think
it
he
is.
would. But do you think he would start though, Quintor?
He probably would. He would start, but he's good. He's pretty decent when he's healthy, but he literally gets hurt all the time, just like Trufant. So.
Yeah, of course. But I think he might be better than Trufant. I mean, hell, anybody would be better than Trufant, in my opinion.
I mean, if he gets hurt just as much, then it really doesn't make it. They cancel each other out. So.
But I'm just saying. Let's just say hypothetically, we sign Dunbar. Do you think that rules out us drafting a corner still?
I don't know if it rules us out drafting it anywhere in the draft. But if we sign him, it might be later on in the draft, like 4th, 5th round, something like that.
Yeah. And that's what I was thinking about too when he said, we might draft a corner. I was like, hold on. I'm like, what is it in Quentin Dunbar? I guess I know he's injury prone, but it's like that might hold the phone a little bit on us drafting a corner. I don't know.
It could. Very well could.
So it's like and don't get me wrong. Like I said, we very well could trade back in the first round. And I wouldn't be upset if we did. Because we could get more picks, more talent, of course, like you said.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about like all of the players that I've watched in Pro Day today, because when you look at it, it's like when they're slated, in the rounds. Do you hope is there one player that is in the later rounds that you hope the Lions can draft in round 2 or 3?
In particular, I wouldn't mind that linebacker, Jamin Davis, Jabril Cox.
Hmm.
Like, let's say, for instance, that we get Penny Sewell at number 7 and we
Hmm.
trade back in the second round. I wouldn't mind also staying on the O-line side of it and getting a guard, Wyatt Davis, out of Ohio State, if we can
That
get
would
that extra pick that.
that would completely address the offensive line, wouldn't it?
Wyatt Davis and Deontay Brown. Wyatt Davis from Ohio State and Deontay Brown from Alabama are considered the 2 best guards in this draft. So if we can get one of those guys in rounds 2 or 3, that would completely address our O-line situation, I would think.
You want to know one thing I would not be shocked about, Dan, that I just thought about now?
What's that?
The Lions could draft 2 linebackers.
I think depending on how many picks we end up with, if we trade back, we can get 2 linebackers and maybe even 2 wide receivers, despite the ones signed in free agency.
And I also think we could, like, let's say this, and I'm just saying hypothetically, of course, we draft Parsons at 7, we trade back in round 2 and round 3. Then we draft like a Jabril Cox in the second or third round. I would not be shocked if we do that.
I wouldn't be shocked if we did that. I wouldn't be shocked if in the second round if he went and took a Kyle Trask for a quarterback.
Ooh, that would be kind of a reach, though, in my opinion.
Not really. I mean, he did really well at his pro day today, and they said it rose his draft stock. So instead of like a third round pick, he's mid to early second round pick now. That's how good he did.
Yeah, of course.
And
but
remember, not only did Dan Campbell speak with Kyle Pitts, he was speaking with Kyle Trask also.
Yeah, but it's like I take that with a grain of salt. It's like you said, they talk to everybody basically.
Yeah, but I think the pick of Trask in round 2 would be our what the fuck pick for this draft. That's what I think.
Oh, that would be let me tell you, it would be expected with the Lions, but it would also be unexpected because everybody would be thinking, oh, we might be taking a Jabril Cox or one of the wide receivers in the second round, and then boom, we take a Kyle Trask.
He would definitely be our like, what the hell? Why are they taking that guy here? Type of pick. That's what I think.
No, well, and that could be happen now. If you ask Jeremy, he wouldn't be upset if they did that.
I mean, everyone has their different view or point of what they want the team to do. It's all good. I mean,
yeah, of course, and it's like I'm to this day, it's like when you think about it, and Jamie also pointed this out, like I may want the Lions to draft a wide receiver, but he said that there's also a good chance that the Lions don't draft a wide receiver at all.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think they go the whole draft without taking one. I could see them waiting till day 2 or 3 to do it, but I think they take one at some point for sure.
You would think they would. It's like when you know that wide receiver 1 is a glaring need.
Most definitely is.
Or because when you think about it, most of our holes are on the defensive side. So I could see the Lions doing what the Panthers did last year too.
They could do that. We don't know. They could use every pick on defense, but if that's within their plans, and I fully expect a trade back then.
Would you be upset if they did that?
No, I mean I might be bummed at first if I'm like, oh, Penny Sewell and Slater was there, and you moved back, but then I wouldn't be shocked because it's also the Lions' thing to do.
Or the Lions stay at 7, Penny Sewell and Slater is there, and they take Parsons.
They could do that too.
Or, and this is your glaring most, how do you say, nightmare of the draft. Penny Sewell and Slater is there, and they take Jalen Waddle.
Oh man, I think I might have to walk away from the TV at that point. I think I'm over the possibility of getting upset at that, even though he's got that broken ankle, just because I expect it now, kind of in a weird kind of way. So
I expect it too, but I would not be shocked if we take Smith instead of Waddle.
oh, Devonta, they could do that too. Who knows? You know.
And I don't want either, but I would rather have Smith over Waddle, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, it's like pick your poison. Do you want to be stung by a bee, or do you want to be smacked in the face by a woman?
Oh,
It's like Devontae Smith is the smack of the face of the woman. Jalen Waddle is being stung by the bee.
I mean, if that's the way you want to put it, then hey, why not?
I mean, that's how you put it differently. You put it to where Jalen Waddle would be the worst pick. I think this is what I think. Whichever team takes Jalen Waddle, I'm going to make a bold statement. They're going to instantly regret it. They're going to instantly regret Jalen Waddle because all of those expectations that they have is going to be plummeting down the toilet, especially when that ankle is going to be a severe thing when he starts playing in the NFL and he's not going to be as fast.
So, if it was a situation where Jalen Waddle slipped out of the first and even out of the second, fell in the third, and they took him, I don't think I'd be as upset about it. But I'm not using a high pick and a guy with coming off a broken ankle. Put it like that.
I'm not even high on taking Jalen Waddle in the third round. I mean, I wouldn't take him at all, in my opinion. He would be like to me, and this is kind of, in my opinion, the what the fuck pick would be taking Jalen Waddle at 7.
Yeah, I mean, that could also be the what the hell pick.
It's Jeremy and others said, if the Lions take Jalen Waddle, there's gonna be a bunch of screaming and going on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm the only one that doesn't want a broken ankle Waddle there at number 7.
Yeah, but then there's a lot of others who want Jalen Waddle at 7.
And the only reason I think they say that they want him is they're probably not taking that bum broken ankle he has into consideration.
Well, also they're probably trying to piss off fans too, knowing that a lot of the fans don't want him.
Yeah, they could be trying to do that too.
I mean, hell, it's like I said that I would rather have Ja'Marr Chase over Waddle, and this one Lion fan said Waddle is better than Chase. I'm like, how? I'm like, Chase is arguably the best wide receiver in the draft. And I told you this before. Dan. I pray to God when the draft starts that teams pick Jalen Waddle and Smith over Ja'Marr Chase. So when the Lions sit there at 7, we have a chance to take Chase. So if we take Chase, we can laugh at every stupid motherfucker in that draft room if Ja'Marr Chase succeeds and Devontae Smith and Waddle doesn't.
Well, hell, if it was up to me, I hope teams in the top 5 take all them wide receivers, so we don't.
Oh, you want to know something though? I would not be shocked if they did that. There's a lot of wide receiver needy teams ahead of us.
Oh yeah.
You know, you see what I'm saying? Like everybody is saying, hey, we could do that. We could draft the wide receiver at 7. But what if there's no wide receivers left? What if, say, the Bengals, the Dolphins, whoever else is ahead of us that has a needy wide receiver need? I mean, hell, I've said it. I want Jamal Chase, but it's like I don't think that he's going to be there. I want him to be there. It's like I'm going to be on draft night. I'm going to be hoping that he's going to be there at 7. But it's like I wouldn't be shocked if he's not there either.
There will be, no matter where we pick or when we decide to take it, there will be plenty of wide receivers available because wide receiver is one of the deepest positions in this draft.
No, I agree. I'm not saying it isn't. But because the Lions, as you say, Dan,
yeah,
because the Lions might say, hey, let's address the wide receiver position in the first round and then address everything else in the later rounds.
Yeah.
We always say that, Dan, because Lions.
Yeah, it could go. This draft could go either way. Like you say, we don't know how they're going to do it. They could be thinking something completely different. Hell, for all we know, they could take a first-round cornerback again. Cause Lions.
Oh, God damn it!
Or they could stay there at 7 and not trade back and reach for a defensive tackle, or they could take a defensive end there. They could.
I wouldn't be so upset if they did that, but I would be upset at the same time. It would be, I'm upset about it, but I wouldn't be shocked. Or they could stay at 7 and just some Lion fans think that this might be a reach, which I understand a little bit why Lion fans think it's a reach, but the Lions could say, hey, let's address the defense. We still have a glaring need at linebacker. Parsons is arguably the best linebacker in the draft for defense in the first round, in the top 10, of course. Let's take Parsons. You know what I mean?
Could do that. Well, like we keep saying, Andrew, they could do anything. They could take a kicker in the first round for all we know.
Oh, God damn it. You're bringing the Raiders approach in it.
Hell, hey, how about this? Maybe not in the first round. What if in the second round, the first pick of the second round, we take a running back?
You see me huffing a little bit because now you have me thinking.
They could. Like you kept bringing up, they could do any of that. They could do anything really in the first 2 picks.
You want to know something? I would not be shocked if we take Williams, the UNC running back.
Yeah, that's a running back both me and Jeremy like. I also like Najee Harris, but he'll probably go late first round. So,
I mean, that could be a what the fuck pick too.
Yes.
It's like, because when you look at it, even though we say that we should take a running back, it's not, to me, a glaring need to where it's like worth wasting a second or a third round pick on a running back, in my opinion.
Well, what do we get Williams on? Like what, a 1-2 year deal, something like that?
Yeah, but it's like, who knows? Maybe we decide, hey, depending on how Williams does, he might be here long term.
He could, or if they take a running back at some point, that running back could take over for him when he leaves, because I could see Williams deciding to leave once his contract is up if we struggle our first 2 years, you know?
I could see that. I would not be shocked if he does that. And also, even though because Lions, and I always say this, because Lions, I would not be shocked if we take a strong safety or free safety in the first round.
First, maybe, yeah, who knows? They could do either of that. But hey, dude, I'm gonna end this meeting. I got some movies to watch and then bed. So,
Oh, okay, cool. Peace,
all
man.
right, peace.